I think that there comes a time in history when you need to change in order to move ahead.
It wasn't named Lee Highway in 1865 or 1866 when the Civil War ended. It was named Lee Highway in the 1920s and 30s when black people started getting educated and, creating businesses and creating their own wealth. It was all a series of intimidation.
I can tell you that I know a lot of people who had traumatic experiences on the corridor of Lee Highway.
I knew about racism. I knew about discrimination. You look at where I went to school. I went to Stratford.
What was then called Robinson's Five and Dime store with my grandmother, we would always be followed. And I'll never forget, there was a lady who worked there named Libby. And she started following me, and my grandmother turned around and said to her, Libby, you don't have to worry about her stealing anything. She's not going to take anything. And that stuck with me, still sticks with me. A lot of the services and activities that we were engaged in took place on Lee Highway. Callaway Church has been on Lee Highway for more than 150 years. We are the first church in Arlington whose cemetery has received historic designation.
Fire Station 8 is, it's iconic to anybody who grew up in Halls Hill because of the fact that, it's the first fire station staffed by an all African American staff.
I would not like for my grandson and my granddaughter, years down the road, to say, why would they have that street named Robert E. Lee? Now that we know another side of history, we need to acknowledge that.
The whole issue and the reason that it was named Lee Highway and that all these other things were named after Confederate losers is because of the need and the desire to intimidate black people and say, you are going to be kept in your place.
Usually when you name something, a street, or a school, anything, when you name it after someone, you're naming it in recognition of a person because of their contributions to a cause, to a county, to a state, to a country, to a world.
I think that it needs to be something that speaks to Arlington valuing all of the stories that touch Lee Highway and that Lee Highway is touched.